Hello and welcome everyone. Today, 16th of June, we are going to do the analysis of the Hindu. So the topics we are going to cover today are: first is flue gas desulfurization units. Recently, an expert committee under principal scientific advisor has recommended to do away with flue gas desulfurization units in thermal power plants. It's a major setback for the environmental movement. Second, special economic zone rules are relaxed to promote the investment in semiconductor sector. Third is G7 summit. Fourth is Axiom mission 4. Okay, so let's start. Flue gas desulfurization units. What are these? See, let us understand step by step what is there in the article. The context of the article is an expert committee under principal scientific advisor has recommended to do away with the mandatory desulfurization units. What are these units? Coal is burned to produce electricity in thermal power plants. Then from this, a flue gas is released, which contains many gases including SO2. SO2 causes pollution. It's a greenhouse gas. So in order to remove SO2, government has come up with a notification in 2015 that a desulfurization unit has to be put in place at all thermal power plants in the country to remove sulfur dioxide. It was a good step. So let's see why then this committee has recommended to remove it. So first let us understand the science behind the removal of SO2 from the thermal power plant. There are three methods to remove the SO2. See, understand it. SO2 is an acidic. So to remove it, we need some basic thing so that they make a compound. There are three methods which are used. First is dry sorbent injection. In this, we use powdered limestone, make it react with SO2. And then what happens? Through a precipitator, it is removed. Second is wet limestone. The difference between these two is here we use dry limestone, here we use wet limestone. Wet limestone, when it reacts with SO2, it makes gypsum. Gypsum is a very stable compound. So what happens is it makes gypsum and SO2 is removed. Gypsum is used in construction activities also. The third is seawater. Seawater being basic, when it reacts with SO2, it absorbs SO2. And what then happens? Then we can treat the seawater and release it back. So this is how SO2 is removed. Why SO2 is needed to be removed? It's a greenhouse gas emission, as we already seen. It causes acid rain also. Then health impacts are also there, respiratory effects. Then other major thing is what happens is SO2, when in atmosphere, it makes other variables of sulfur dioxide. And then they react with other compounds, which makes PM 2.5. According to the data, 15% of PM 2.5 is released through coal. And out of this coal, 80% is released because of SO2 or its compound. So it plays a major role in the release of PM 2.5 in the atmosphere. So this is the issues with SO2. This is how we remove it. So now let's see. Flue gas desulfurization units were made mandatory in 2015 Environment Ministry policy. At that time, there were 537 units of thermal power plants. As of August 2024, only 39 units have implemented this flue gas desulfurization system. It's almost 8% only. So this is the situation with the flue gas desulfurization units. This data is given by Central Electricity Authority. It's a statutory body under Electricity Act. These questions can come up in prelims exam. Central Electricity Authority is an executive body, is a regulatory body. It's an statutory body under this act. It is an attached office under Ministry of. So write in comment box the name of the ministry. So as we see, the implementation has been very poor. But the question comes, if flue gas desulfurization units are so important for environment protection, then why government appointed body or committee has recommended its go away with? The issue with FGD units is they are very costly. How much cost? 1.2 CR per megawatt. Let us see how much it is. In India, the current coal installed capacity is 2,19,338 megawatt. And according to Minister of Power, 97,000 megawatt more is required, which will lead to expenditure of more than 1 lakh crore. This is the major reason behind this recommendation. And what it does, this leads to increase in cost per unit for consumer at 0.72 rupees per kilowatt. So per unit, 72 paisa cost is increased for the thermal power plants and the consumer when FGD units are installed. On basis of this recommendation, on basis of this issue of the cost, the committee has recommended that we should now go away with the requirement of FGD units. Now the question comes, this is a major debate of environment versus economy. This you can use in your case studies also. How the government has to make a balance between environment and economy. So if we go away with, what is the solution? Let me tell you the solution. Solution. According to experts, there is no solution. There is no alternate. Any alternate? No alternate to this. So let's see whether government implements or takes into consideration the recommendations of the committee or not. So the major thing under this we discussed are SO2, how pollution is happen from SO2, how thermal power plant releases SO2 and flue gas, how desulfurization units work, what 3 methods are used, what is the current status, how it's almost a failure. The policy, only 8% has been implemented. Then what is the reason behind this recommendation? Okay, so now let's move to the next topic. Yes, this is also a very important topic, special economic zone. Recently, government has come up with some relaxation in special economic zones related to semiconductor manufacturing. So first of all, before we move on to the article, we'll see what is special economic zone. What are special economic zone? Special economic zones are like an area within a country where various tax concessions in income tax, in excise and custom, various tax concessions are provided and various regulations are eased so that investment, export and employment can happen. Basically, see, if this is a country, then I make this area as special economic zone. This area will have different regulations than this area. Why? In order to promote the investment, export and employment. Semiconductor, you know the importance of semiconductor in today's world. We are, transitioning towards an electronic society. Today, we can't imagine our life without electronics. Everything we use from mobile phone to fan, to light, to internet, everything works on these chips, these tiny semiconductor chips, and they process vast data. So the need of manufacturing semiconductor locally, when it arose when during the COVID, supply chain disruptions happened And it was realized that as per Semiconductor Industry Association, 35% of the chips were manufactured in China. So for any country, it is not strategically and also economically advantageous to be dependent on a country this much for the chips, which makes the backbone of any economy today. So the government has earlier also launched a mission, Semicon India mission, in 2022 with an investment of 76,000 crore rupees. And rules which have been relaxed recently are the three rules have been relaxed basically. Land area requirement. Earlier, for a semiconductor plant, the land which was required minimum was 50 hectare. Now it has been reduced to 10 hectare. What will happen? That small investments can also happen. Investors which do not have this much potential or have this much money to invest, they can also invest and take land of 10 hectare. Second is encumbrance free land. Yes, what is this encumbrance free land? In India, as we all know, there are issues of land disputes. The legal title is not very clear with many land in India. There is no digitization of the land records. So there is a dispute between various land areas regarding who owns the land. So in such cases, it was not allowed to invest. But now under these rules, if a land has certain disputes, then the board of approval can relax those norms. What is board of approval? Basically, it gives the relaxation and permission for the investment in SEZ. It is headed by Secretary, Ministry of Commerce. See, these questions, these statements come directly in your prelims exam. A statement will come and you'll be clueless as what is this. So these are the things we need to pick from the newspaper. These are the things we need to do a little more detailed study. So it comes under the Ministry of, it will come very direct question, under the Ministry of, that's it. Okay, tell me in the comment box if you know. And third rule which is relaxed now is in SEZ, the production which happens, it is basically done for the export. Domestic selling is not allowed. But now the government has allowed for the semiconductor industries which are going to be set up in SEZ so that to sell their product domestically also. What will happen is that it will open up more avenues to sell for the semiconductor industries. So these are the steps taken up by the government to increase the semiconductor production in India. So is there any impact of this so far? There's a small impact. Recently, we can see 2 new SEZ have been approved with 13,000 crore investment. So we'll see the impact of these relaxation of rules in the upcoming future. Okay, next, G7. There have been many news around G7, whether Prime Minister will be invited or not. If invited, whether Prime Minister Narendra Modi will go or not. So after all, invitation has come. Prime Minister is there to attend the G7 summit. The outcomes of the summit have not come out yet. So we are going to just see the aspects which can come in prelims from G7. The rest of the analysis we'll do when the outcomes of this summit will come. This summit, is very important for India also, as India has to put its stand against terrorism and also Operation Sindoor. And also the trade policy which US is following. So let's see basic things about G7. First of G7 is an informal body. It is not a formal body. There is no definite headquarter. There is no permanent bureaucracy. All decisions are done through a consensus. Also, it does not make any laws. It does not make any binding recommendations. So what is the history? After the 1973 oil crisis, a meeting happened between 6 countries. What are the 6 countries? US, UK, France, Italy, Germany, and Japan. Then 1976, Canada joined. These are the 7 members of G7. 4 European members, 1 Asian, and 2 North American. Canada joined. Then 1997, Russia joined. Yes, G7 to G8. till 2014 when Russia annexed Crimea. Russia was expelled from G7. So presently also there are 7 members only. Okay, so this is with the G7. We'll see more in detail in the upcoming analysis videos when the outcomes of the summit will come up. Now the last topic for today is Axiom mission. Finally, after postponements, Axiom mission is scheduled to be launched on June 19, which is set to carry 4 astronauts, including 1 Indian, Shubhanshu Shukla, to the International Space Station. As you must have seen, a question has come up in prelims 2025 regarding Axiom mission. What is Axiom mission? It is a private astronaut mission. Keep this in mind, to take astronauts to International Space Station. It is organized by Axiom Space, NASA, ISRO, and SpaceX Falcon 9. The mission has been postponed earlier because of the threat posed by a discovery of an oxygen leak, now which is supposed to be fixed. So the launch has been fixed in June 19. What are the various objectives? The objective majorly revolve around to take economic activities to the space station, International Space Station, to promote space tourism, private research, then feasibility of commercial space station in future, making these space stations as a launch pad for the future missions. Then scientific experiment related to microgravity, Earth observation, life sciences. Can you find this word familiar? Yes, this question was asked in prelims 2025. Which of the following missions work on the field of microgravity? And Axiom 4 was one of the options. So this is how UPSC picked few things, very minor detailed things which you're supposed to know. This microgravity thing, this G7, G8 thing, no permanent bureaucracy, decision through consensus, board of approval, what is the ministry, Central Electricity Authority, statutory body or not, what is gypsum, the chemical formula of gypsum. So such questions are very detailed and that come through experience. As when we read newspaper and when we see the analysis daily basis, but we get to know, okay, what thing can come in exam and what thing are less likely to come in exam. So this is it for today. One more thing which is in news, like Iran and Israel war, which we have covered in 13 June analysis. So as the situation will evolve, we'll see the impacts on India and the world. So this is done for today. Okay, thank you.